Hello guys, Robert1 here, coming at you with a new Yu-Gi-Oh video, and in today's Yu-Gi-Oh video we're going to be doing a meta discussion video from YCS Dusseldorf. Now, YCS Dusseldorf was this previous weekend, and I thought it would be a great idea just to talk about YCS Dusseldorf, what happened, what's going on, and what the meta is kind of changing into after YCS Dusseldorf. So we're going to be looking at Dusseldorf 1, Dusseldorf 2, and the meta breakdown from YCS Dusseldorf to just talk about my thoughts and opinions on where the meta is heading and where we're going to be going with it. So let's start off with the round 10 breakdown from YCS Dusseldorf, which actually had 121 Solomon Greats in day 2, followed by 65 Thunder Dragons, which is almost half of the Solomon Great deck. Pure Sky Striker of 56, showing it's still got its representation. Subterra then are almost half as well as 29 spots, being higher than Altergeist. Again, Subterra coming in, beating Altergeist. Definitely not what I predicted this format, guys, but you know, it's here. Then we got Trickstar and Danger Orcus. Danger Orcus being 19 and Trickstar being 14. And then Subterra with 104 other decks. So just looking from this, we're seeing that there's a high breakdown of like Subterra. There's a high breakdown of Solomon Great, being that there's 121 Solomon Great decks. And they also came second at this event. What am I going to say? What am I going to say? This is... Solomon Great is representation. It's a cheap deck that's also really good. There's nothing I can really say about that. But let's go into the breakdown of the top 32 as well, because we're seeing there's a ton of diverse decks in this, being 104 other decks, and also seeing that there's a Solomon Great just dominating, and just all these other decks that are in the format being able to go far as well. But in the top 32, we actually see that there's no Altergeist again. Altergeist is gone, but we also see a huge amount of Solomon Great making the top 32. You see 17 Solomon Great, 5 Sky Striker, 3 Thunder Dragons, and I'm just doing this by percentages right now. I don't actually have the list on me. 1 Subterra, 1 Dark Warrior, which was also Danger Orcus, 1 Danger Orcus, which was piloted by Thomas Rose and actually won the event, 1 Trickstar, and 1 Trideco, and 2 other decks that I don't actually know what were, and would tell you if I could, but I don't have that information, sadly. I did look. But looking at this list, this right here, this shit, we're in a format where you can buy a cheap deck, buy 3 structure decks, and do well at a YCS. I'm happy. Konami, you did a good job. You gave us Ash Blossom and a competitive deck in the same scenario, and it's showing that it's good. It's showing that it's powerful. It's showing that it's great, and it's showing that you are able to play meta again. And looking at this whole list, obviously, we know what won the YCS. We know Angel by Thomas Rose. He should have lost that. He should have. All the Solomon Great player who came second had to do was attack that goddamn set monster, and he would have won. That obviously wasn't a Jackalope. Thomas Rose would have gone in if it was a Jackalope. Obviously had these plays. And just looking at the top 32 in general, we're seeing tons of stuff. Ping came fourth with his Danger Dark Warrior, so we're definitely seeing Orcus be a very relevant deck as well, which is also kind of cheap at the same time, outside of the Danger Engine, which is a fortune. We're seeing Subterra, the new Stun deck, being in the top 32 as well, which is really good and just great to look at. We're seeing Thunder Dragon and Sky Striker being here as well, which are just, honestly, here in general, just are great. And just seeing all of these decks be in the top 32 is also really good, because it means that all of these decks are still somewhat powerful. Even the ones that came in are only 1 per area, and also seeing the Sky Striker and Thunder Dragon are still powerful as well, which I don't like because I want to be in a different format. But seeing stuff like Orcus and Solomon Great being able to take away these spots from these decks is also really happy to me, because it means you can build a deck that doesn't necessarily need to be 100. So, I don't know, 300, 400 pounds just to be able to play the game, which I really, really like. But that's just YCS Dusseldorf 1. Let's have a look at YCS Dusseldorf 2 as well, which had 16, which was only a top 16, because we saw top 16 because we saw that there was only 150 something players, where Dusseldorf had 2,400 players. So True Draco. So we see from this top 32, we see True Draco being at one, Lunar Light being in there, Danger, which I'm assuming is an Orcus Danger variant. I don't actually know, but I'm assuming it is an Orcus Danger variant. We also see Thunder Dragons, like two. We also see two Thunder Dragons, two Sky Strikers as well, four Trickstar, and then four Solomon Great. So we see Solomon Great being dominant in this as well, but not taking up over half the spots as it did in Dusseldorf 1. We do see Sky Striker, which actually won the event to my knowledge of Dusseldorf 2, with Thunder Dragon coming second in this event as well. So we see that we've got four Solomon Great, which, like, all of this, like, just looking at it, from the YCS, the two YCSs, we see that the most relevant decks still are Sky Striker, Solomon Great, Thunder Dragon, and Orcus. These are the decks that are the most powerful right now, just looking at the two YCSs. And just looking at both YCSs, like, we see that Thunder Dragon, True Draco is actually still a powerful deck and able to top these events. And I'm assuming they had quite a small showing. Thing is, in day 2, they only had 12 decks in there in the YCS 1. And just looking at these decks in general, we see we see showings change as well. So from this one, we're seeing Lunar Lights, which wasn't actually in Dusseldorf 1. It didn't actually make it into there. I don't even think it was on this. No, it wasn't on this. It might have been able to get into the other category, but I doubt after winning a YCS it would be in the other category. So that it might be there, it might not be. But just looking at the two YCSs and breaking it down, we can tell what the best decks are just by looking at it. Like, we can see that the best deck right now, due to these two, is Solomon Great. We can see Solomon Great being the most dominant deck, and because of that being the best deck, being able to just take out other decks such as Thunder Dragons, Sky Striker, Subterra, Orcus, Trickstar, Draco. Like, this deck is able to dominate these decks and is just able to go far. And I would say we've got Orcus coming in as second best deck, being that, sure, it took the YCS, but it only had two tops, but obviously there was a lot less of a representation as well. So it's kind of I would kind of put them on even footing to be a degree, but we see that they are the same variation. I just feel like Solomon Great is better. We can see that Orcus is a very close second to the Solomon Greats. And then going into actually YCS Dusseldorf 2, we can see with Sky Striker and Thunder Dragons, that Sky Striker and Thunder Dragons, Sky Striker being the better of the two, but Thunder Dragons then being the fourth best. And just looking at the representation from these two events, I would have to say, like, it's a very hard choice to say what the fifth best deck is. Just looking at these, it would probably have to be something between either the Subterras or the True Dracos. Like, honestly, just looking at the breakdown that we have here, we can honestly see that Solomon Great or Orcus are the two best decks in the format. Being able to take the 2,400 something event, with these two decks coming first and second. Then we see a Dusseldorf 2 at the 400 something event. Sky Striker and Thunder Dragon came first and second as well. So these four decks are definitely in the top 5 best decks in the format, being that they are there and just able to dominate on their own right as well. And just looking at this, we can see that there's so much diversity as well, being that you could play any of these decks, and we're not in a specific triangle format anymore, because like Solomon Great and Orcus was like, hey, you see that triangle of Thunder Dragon, Autogeist, and Sky Striker? Solomon Great and Orcus came in like, nah, get out of here, we're here now. And now it's like we've kind of broken the triangle, and it's kind of like changing the format depending on that as well. So we're seeing a lot of differences, a lot of change, just because of something like Solomon Great came out of the woodwork. Something like Orchestrated Nightmare came out of nowhere, giving Orcus Danger the opportunity to just be such a powerful deck. And like, we're seeing all of these different changes and all of this abuse and differences. And you've also got to remember, like, Solomon Great is a great deck because Solomon Great is a great deck. Not intentional pun. Is a great deck because it doesn't need to search, so it's not hindered by Thunder Dragon, and also it can use its effects very easily. It has a ton of negation and counterplay. Something like Sky Striker, which needs its continuous spell cards such as multi-roll, which Foxy gets rid of very easily. So they like Solomon Grey has the outs to that, while Orcus Danger just doesn't need to search. It draws more. It uses the dangers to utilize more advantage. Like, these decks are all powerful. And looking at the format where we're going into, just looking at these decks in general, we're seeing like definitely all of these decks have potential. But from what I'm seeing from this, I'm definitely thinking that Solomon Grey or Orcust are the best deck. They're tied. They're tied for first or first and second. I honestly feel like Solomon Grey is the best because of it should have won this event. But honestly, Orcust are also a very close second as well, being that they did win the event, being that they had a much lower representation than Solomon Grey, and just being that you're able to utilize cards like Azathor, Neos Connector, Nightmare Mermaid, the Nightmare Engine. Like, you're able to utilize all of these cards to actually boost your chances of being able to win, along with the dangers. So, like, these two decks are head and head, in my opinion, and either one can be the best deck. I don't know which one would be the best deck, but we're definitely seeing the change of the meta and the toppling of the Tower of Thunder Dragon and Sky Striker at this point. But if I would have to say what the best deck is, the fifth best deck is, I would have to either give it to one of the three, True Draco, Subterra, or Trickstar. Like, one of these three decks, honestly, they've shown that they're able to top two different YCSs on the same day, being that Trickstar had one spot, True Draco had 2 spots. Well, actually, no, Trickstar had 3 spots in both YCSs. Thunder Dragon had 2 spots through both YCSs, and then Subterra only had 1 in one of the YCSs, but still being a deck that is able to utilize this is something that I could honestly see being more powerful. But guys, from this meta discussion, what do you personally think? Do you think these pie charts are correct? Do you think Orcust is the best deck? Do you think Solomon Grey is the best deck? Personally, I feel like Solomon Grey, just because of the amount of negation it has, consistency, all of that lot. And honestly, I could see Danger being the best deck as well. Orcust Danger being the best deck as well, because it has also the same kind of capabilities. And in Dark Neostorm, we even get a counter trap for the deck, making it even closer to the Solomon Grey deck. So, guys, this is just my meta discussion video. I feel like Solomon Grey or Orcust, one of those two are the best deck of the format. It's hard to say which, but honestly, they are both very powerful. Sky Striker and Thunder Dragon still around, being very good, still being able to just go through. And then we just see a ton of diversity as well through like 104 other decks making take 2. 2 other decks in here, which I wish I could give you the results for, but I honestly do not have the information, and I would give you them if I could. Guys, that's just my thoughts and opinions on this meta discussion. Tell me what your thoughts on the meta are from YCS Duffelsdorf. Do you think Solomon Grey is the best deck? Do you think Orcust is the best deck? Do you think Sky Striker or Thunder Dragon easily wiped the floor with them still? Or do you think this was a fluke just because everybody had the deck and, it just took a large representation? Guys, this is my personal thoughts and opinions. Tell me what you think of them in the comment section below. As I said, if you enjoyed the video, don't forget to press the like button. If you want to see more content like this, don't forget to press the subscribe button. And if you want to be notified of any content like this or streams that I do at 8 p.m. UK time on Thursday afternoons, do not forget to press the notification button to be notified of those videos or streams. But yeah, guys, that's the video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, as I said. And Robert1 signing out. I'm playing Solomon Grey or Orcust. I can play both. Which do you want me to play? Tell me that in the comment section below. Later, guys.